investigating officer on guiding them on how to sample, because that is a forensic lab work to be done. And Brigadier cut the call. Just after I spoke to Brigadier Maluleke, I received another call from my direct commander, who is Colonel Kuzwayo. She said to me, she requested my team to go and assist Brigadier Nyuswa's team to guide them on how to sample a cocaine case at Isipingo. I responded the same way I've responded to Brigadier Maluleke, to Colonel Kuzwayo, and explained to her why my members cannot attend. And Colonel Kuzwayo was understanding, and the call ended. That was all I was involved on the 23rd of June 2021, Councillor.
And did any of your members go out to go and assist Brigadier Nyuswa's team?
No, Councillor.
Okay. And then so that takes care of page 3 and 4 of your statement. Still on page 4.
Advocate Siggles, do you mind if she reads paragraph 10, only 10?
Okay, can you read paragraph 10? On
page 4 or 5?
Yes, page 4, paragraph 10.
It is important for the Commission to understand that, in terms of the protocol, all drug exhibits, except Dacha and Kat, must be submitted to the FSL immediately, but not later than 7 days. Once the exhibits are at the FSL, the exhibits are registered, stored in the safe, awaiting allocation to any available analyst. My members do not attend non-clan lab crime scenes to collect samples of exhibits that are stored or will be stored elsewhere. Thank you, Councillor.
Can I just ask, this request from Colonel Kuzwayo and Brigadier Maluleke, does it mean they don't know this which you have had to explain to them, that your members do not go out to, I think they're called Type B, since they go only to clan labs? I'm trying to understand such a request being made to you by these two senior people. On the face of it, it suggests they don't know this protocol that you've had to explain to them.
Commissioner, it may happen they don't know or they forgot, but I did my extent to explain to them my restriction as a clan lab manager, so that they understand clearly, even to the person who have phoned them to request. And I even further explain to them, if you have got any challenges to the requestee, you can ask him to call me back, because I've got a good relationship with DPCI. They call me directly for information seeking and even for assistance. So we may not know, but I gave them that benefit of the doubt. Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you.
And you say that your members don't attend non-clan lab crime scenes to collect exhibits. In fact, they don't attend non-clan lab crime scenes. How did you know that what was being requested, the assistance that was being requested by Brigadier Nyuswa's team, was a non-clan lab crime scene, so that your members don't go out?
From the information that I've requested from the 3 people that have communicated to me, because I even asked from Colonel Kuzwayo, what is there that the members they are going to do? He said they are just going to assist them and guide them on how to sample. Then I said, it is not within my restriction for my members to guide the investigating officer, because they don't have the training for sampling.
If Colonel Kuzwayo had said to you that the request from Brigadier Nyuswa is for your clan lab members to go out and do sampling, not to guide, but to do sampling, would that still have been, you still wouldn't have sent your members out?
If she indicates it's a clan lab, I further go in details because I have to minimize my members to go out where there is no need for that. I would request, because they were phoning me in a state phone, I would request Colonel Kuzwayo to provide me the details of the investigating officer so that prior releasing my members, I conducted the investigating officer of the matter to find out the details of the actual area that is involved. This includes whereby they will even send me the photos and we can talk about the clan lab to see whether it fit in with the criteria. Because we had instances before that members end up going to attend something that doesn't fit the criteria. So we've gone to extend that I have a direct contact with the investigating officer to see that where my members are going to go, it actually meets the criteria. So even if Colonel Kuzwa can say it's a clan lab, I will request a further communication with that investigating officer before I release my members, Councillor.
Okay, if I can then just understand the sequence, Brigadier Maluleke calls you first.
Yes, Councillor.
You explain, and does he accept your explanation as to why your members are not going out?
He said, okay, Colonel.
And then you receive a few minutes later a call from Colonel Kuzwayo.
Yes, Councillor.
Does she tell you why she's calling you with the same instruction? Did she know that Brigadier Maluleke had just called you?
I cannot be sure of that, Councillor. Only thing that I did, I responded to her request and give clarity.
But when she speaks to you, she says to you that Brigadier Nuswa called her as well? Or does she say she got a call from Brigadier Maluleke to approach you?
She didn't indicate who called her, Councillor. She just said, can my team members go and assist? So she didn't indicate who actually requests.
Okay. And did you not find it strange that your two seniors are calling you in succession about this request? Shouldn't they have known, as Commissioner Baloy saying, shouldn't they know the protocol that FSL members, Clan Lab members, don't go out to assist or guide on sampling?
It may be, Councillor, but I would give the benefit of the doubt because this is not their field of expertise. At least they phoned me so I can give them directive and clarity. Then it's sounding better on my side because I have informed them or updated them for what is actually happening.
Okay. And you didn't receive any direct communication from Brigadier Nuswa?
No, Councillor.
Have you ever been requested by DPCI directly to send your members out?
A lot of time, Councillor.
But not to go and guide on sampling?
No, Councillor.
For clan labs?
For clan lab, even if it's not clan lab, if they have got any consignment, they call me for clarity. That's why I even request them to send me photos. So whatever communication I give and guidance, it's for something that I see of. So we've got a good relationship working with them. So it was shocking for me now that I receive call from my senior, but I'm working with them. Almost, they are my primary customers when it comes to Clan Lab.
Okay, would you have expected Brigadier Nuswa to call you directly or somebody from his team?
Yes, Councillor.
Because they know you are the person that gives that instruction?
Yes, Councillor.
Okay, thank you. Then if you can continue with your statement at page 4, the October 2021 incident. Again there, if you could just tell us in your own words rather than read what happened on the 27th of October 2021.
Firstly, Councillor, under my clan lab, I've got 4 members who partner up in 2 pairs. One of the members is Warrant Officer Setsedi. So on this day, Warrant Officer Setsedi, around 11:20, he called me and he informed me that he had a conversation with Lieutenant Colonel Jacobs of DPCI. I usually work with him also because at that time, Warrant Officer Setsedi was having a Simbiti case whom Lieutenant Colonel Jacobs was the investigating officer. So there was nothing funny with me because I know exactly there will be some communications between the members and the investigating officer. But now the shocking part is every time when the investigating officer wanted to communicate with me, wanted to communicate with my members, they via me. Then they speak with a member with me knowing exactly what is expected. So on this day, Warrant Officer Setsedi telephonically called me and said, Colonel, there was Lieutenant Colonel Jacobs in the office and he came and inquired from me to find out about there was information. Can I refer from my statement to be a little bit specific on
Yes,
this
sure.
information?
Yes.
So Warrant Officer Setsedi informed me that there was Lieutenant Colonel Jacobs early this morning, and Lieutenant Colonel Jacobs asked him if it is possible that the case that the DPCI sampled and forwarded to FSL lab for analysis could be analyzed by one of the crime scene analysts. Which means on those words, he was meaning my team members can assist, since I think the background was that Lieutenant Colonel Jacobs know my team because he has been working with. So he wanted to know whether is it possible that those team members can address that case that he has forwarded to the lab. And I responded to Warrant Officer Setsedi that procedurally, the IO don't pick up the analyst to analyze a case. And secondly, this case that Lieutenant Colonel Jacobs was referring to was the case that was brought directly to the lab. So it was already within the FSL system, which is out of my restriction as a clan lab. So they indicated to Warrant Officer Setsedi that procedurally, investigating officer, they don't pick an analyst to analyze a case. And that will not be done. And that was then.
And then something that's not contained in your statement, but that we became aware of after the fact in consultation with you, was a meeting.
May I just quickly ask this? You say, he informed me that, oh no, let me start a line down. He said that Lieutenant Colonel Jacob asked him if it is possible that the case that DPCI sampled and forwarded to FSL for analysis could be analyzed by one of the crime scene analysts. In other words, by one of my members. I told Warrant Officer Setsedi that if the case had been submitted to FSL, it will be allocated to any analyst, and that his commander, and that as his commander, I informed him that it is irregular for any investigating officer to request or choose a specific analyst to analyze a case. My understanding is that all exhibits should be brought to FSL and the sampling should be done by FSL. Why did you say that, that is to Warrant Officer Setsedi, that the case would have to be allocated to any analyst? Why did you not say, we will not do that because we cannot analyze what has been sampled and brought as a sample by the DPCI? Because here you seem to be accepting that you would do the analysis, but that they could not choose which analyst should do it. So you are receptive to the idea of doing the analysis, even though DPCI had done a sample for you. Why did you not say, we are not going to do that because they can't sample for us?
Councillor, firstly, not all.
I was a councillor before before.
My
Let's
apology,
leave it.
Commissioner.
Let's just say more than a decade ago.
My apology. You are growing younger to me. Okay, Commissioner, firstly, not all the exhibits come to the FSL because there is my subsection that goes out there to collect exhibits. And secondly, the issue of sampling, I don't have the details whether sampling or they analyzed or they brought the wrong term because I know nothing about this. The only information I know about this case is when I got the call while I was on vacation leave in June. So I don't know what transpired after that call. So I'll either assume they are giving incorrect terminology or either. So that's where my position is. So the actual position that I was to address the position of selecting an analyst to assist. Thanks, Commissioner.
So had you known that they had actually sampled and brought a sample themselves, you would have rejected that?
Yes, Councillor.
All right, thank you.
Yes, Commissioner, my apology.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Colonel, then an issue that you didn't deal with in your statement because you only informed us about it after in preparation for your evidence is a meeting that took place on the 19th of May 2026. Can you tell us what happened, how that meeting came about and what happened in the meeting?
Thank you, Councillor. Can we go back first?
Yes.
Before the 19th. On the 11th of May, I received a telephone call from Colonel Jacobs at this stage, and he requested from me to speak to Warrant Officer Setsedi and see what did he write on his statement. And I said, what do you want to know from Warrant Officer Setsedi? He said, I just want to remind myself of what Warrant Officer Setsedi wrote while the investigating officer came. I said, can you please send me in my phone the question that you wanted to address with Warrant Officer Setsedi so that I can view them and discuss with him so that when you come, we are already prepared. Then he sent me a WhatsApp message because I was out of office also. He sent me a WhatsApp message and he was using Deben, KZN, Young. But I can confirm for my phone, but it's not his number that we usually communicate. Then I took those, it was about 6 questions. Then I took those questions and discussed with Colonel Kuzwai and say, these are the questions I've received from Colonel Jacobs. He wants to meet with my member. But when I read these questions, it's not about Warrant Officer Setsedi. Because in my knowledge, I thought the question he's going to address the cases that Setsedi has done that are his. But when I read these questions, it was asking about destruction, which is out of Setsedi's matter. Then I said, Colonel, these questions are awkward for Setsedi. I don't know why Colonel Jacobs wants to discuss such questions, because these operational questions, which also myself as his commander is not involved. I'm not involved in destruction. I'm not involved about case management. I don't understand why he wanted to know that. Then we discussed the question. I said, I'll hear from him when he calls back again so that I can inquire if there's anything further than that. But all of these questions, they don't involve Warrant Officer Setsedi. Then I just keep myself busy with other things. Then on the 19th, he called me again, the 19th of May. He called me again, insisting, Colonel, please, can I see Warrant Officer Setsedi? I wanted to remind myself what did he say in his statement. I said, Warrant Officer Setsedi is in the office today, but 20th and the 21st, he will not be in the office because he's doing the police, what we call it, after the college. So you have got 2 days where you need to serve in the police station. I said, today, Thursday and Friday, you won't be there. So if you want him urgently, you can come today, while I'm also here and he's here, so that we can address actually your concerns, because the questions you send me, they don't involve Warrant Officer Setsedi. He said, we are coming now. Within about 20 minutes, he was at the lab going with Colonel Sibia. I don't know, it's KG, I can't remember his initials. They came to the lab and I was called at case reception. I went and collected them. And they went in a lab opposite my office because my office is small at Mayville. Then I informed him that I'm going to be part of your discussion as a supervisor for Setsedi. And I called another member to come as a third party to inquire, to hear actually what is being inquired by Colonel Jacobs, because I could not understand. And Colonel Kuzwayo was busy with some information, so she could not manage to join us. So I grabbed another analyst as a third party to listen. And Colonel Jacobs requested first to find out what did Setsedi wrote in his statement and what did he say. Then Setsedi said, I'll go and collect my statement because I can't remember everything. Then Warrant Officer Setsedi went out to their office and collected an unsigned statement, and he showed him. He said, this is the statement. He gave it to me. Then I said, Colonel, there is a statement. You can read for yourself and remind yourself. Then he was reading every passage and questioned every paragraph. Can you remember something Warrant Officer Setsedi? And Warrant Officer Setsedi said, this is all we have communicated about, and this is all I know. And he was insisting, can you please remember what we have discussed? And this instance, I was not there when they discussed. It's only the two of them. And Setsedi said, this is all I know, Colonel, nothing more about that. And he was really furious that Setsedi supposed to remember something. Say, please remember, please, what we have talked on that day. And Setsedi was saying, no, this is all we have talked about, Colonel. Then they decided, Colonel Jacob said he wanted to see Colonel Kuzwayo. And Colonel Kuzwayo was up and down those weeks. We were preparing for audits. So he could not manage to meet Colonel Kuzwayo. Then they left. So that was a little bit concerning to me because he was continuously persisting to meet with Setsedi. So that's why I also wanted to hear what is it that is so important they want to discuss about. That's all, Councillor.
Do Ms. Sigal, do we have the phone record?
Phone record of what, Chair?
Remember,
No,
Colonel
we don't
Song,
She
you
hasn't
know
provided-
what I'm referring. You know,
I hear it for the first time that the questions were actually sent
right.
to her, so we will engage her on that.
all right.
Yes, thank you.
You can share that with the evidence leaders. Remember what you referred to about the text that was sent to you by.
The text that was sent, Commissioner, is set for, I don't know what they call the technology, whereby the message is staying for a certain time frame. I didn't know either, but in my phone it's still indicating that the message came on the 11 May 2026. And at least on that day when I received the message, I went to Colonel Kuzwayo and we discussed it. Now when we're preparing, I want this message. It's no longer there. But the contact that he sent the message with is still within my phone. And it was a WhatsApp communication.
So it will show that it's a disappearing message on the 11th, that was
Yes,
sent on the
Councillor.
11th of May. Okay. And you say that you did tell Colonel Kuzwayo contemporaneously about what happened, the messages that you got?
Yes, we even discussed the questions that I've received, Councillor.
During the meeting of the 19th of May, did Warrant Officer Setsedi say anything about him being intimidated by the investigators of the Port Shepstone theft in January 2022 when they were asking for a statement and interviewing him?
No, Councillor.
Did he mention anything about having prepared his statement under duress during that meeting?
No, Councillor.
Okay. What was Colonel Jacob's attitude towards Warrant Officer Setsedi insofar as when he didn't recall what Colonel Jacob wanted him to recall? And do you have a specific issue that they were discussing that he was frustrated or that he was upset about that wasn't being recalled?
He was furious about, can you remember about us making arrangement for the 7 blocks in Potchefstroom? Can you remember something? They said, I stole exhibit. Please remember. That's all I can remember, Councillor.
Okay, thank you. Chair, no further questions for the witness.
Thank you, Ms. Sigels-Ncube. Thank you very much, Colonel Songa. You are excused.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Who do I look to now?
Thank you, Chair. I think that just might be enough for the day.
During some of the informal discussions outside, an indication was made to start at 9.
At 9.
I have practical difficulties. I can't make 9 o'clock.
No, Chair, having considered the next witness, the statement is in the file and it's fairly brief as well. So there won't be any need to start earlier than normal. So we don't have to start at 9.
How long do you think it would take to
30
30?
minutes. And I start,
Let's do it now.
We do it now.
Yes.
I did stick to
Yes.
my 30 minutes.
Well, she stuck to her 30 minutes. She's giving you an undertaking of 30 minutes again.
Let me look. I don't trust that.
We,
Did, Chair.
yeah, then we can.
Yes, she'll be even briefer, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank
Chair.
you.
She'll be relieved.
Next week. Please, I will give her also. I want to give her also. Dig, you know. That's I know. That's where the digging happens. I like it when she does that. Okay, remember to give her. Yes, she could do with the energy. I have to go. Do you buy them every day? She's going to want more. Okay, take 3. For her. I buy a few packets to save her father. Just one more. Yeah. Intuition. Huh? Intuition. I think you're spot on. You're spot on.
Yes, Mr. Sigazinube.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the next witness is Colonel Kuzwayo. Her statement appears in section 5.
Good evening, Colonel.
Good evening, Commissioner. How are you?
Well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. Will you be swearing or affirming?
Swearing.
Do you swear that, first, please give us your full names for the record.
Nonkululeko Promise Kuzwayo.
Do you swear that the evidence you are going to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you. Colonel, there should be a file in front of you that says consolidated witness statements. And if you go to section 5, your statement should be there of that file.
Yes.
I think they've already opened it for you. Page 1 to page 6, if you can confirm the signature on page 6, that it's yours.
Yes, it is my.
And do you confirm that this is the statement that you prepared for purposes of your evidence before the Commission?
Correct.
And you confirm the correctness of the contents of the statement?
Yes.
Can I ask you to go to page 1 and if you could read your statement into the record, please?
I am an adult female in the employ of the South African Police Services as the section commander of the chemistry section in the Forensic Science Laboratory in KwaZulu-Natal. I hold the rank of colonel. I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry. I also have an in-house training on the analysis of illicit drugs and medicine exhibits. Before my promotion to section commander of the chemistry section, I started as an assistant forensic analyst in FSL from 2002 with the rank of sergeant. In 2005, I was promoted to a forensic analyst responsible for technical management in the section until I was promoted in 2009 to supervisor with the rank of a captain. I was promoted to section commander in 2013. In 2001, I reported to Brigadier Madlanga, who is the regional head of FSL for KwaZulu-Natal and parts of Eastern Cape and the Free State. As a section commander, I am responsible for the chemistry section, which deals with cases such as suspected illicit drug and fire investigation. The chemistry section includes subsections such as chemical investigation, chemical analysis, case management, as well as archives and disposals. The chemical investigation subsection is headed by Lieutenant Colonel Songa. This subsection is responsible for attending to, amongst others, clandestine drug laboratory cases. The purpose of this statement is to explain my limited role in the evidence surrounding the seizure of 541 kilograms of suspected cocaine on the 22nd June 2021 in KZN. I am advised that my evidence may be of assistance in the Commissioner's work regarding the seizure of the subsequent theft of the drugs from the Potchefstroom premises of the Directorate for Priority Crime Investigation. Before I deal with my involvement, it is important for me to highlight that FSL's operations at the time were subject to National Instruction 1 of 2015, National Instruction 8 of 2017, and the Protocol of Search, Siege, Handling and Processing of Disposition and Disposition of Illicit Drugs, which is the protocol. I am advised that these documents have already been placed before the Commission. The events of June 2021. On the 22nd of June 2021, I received a call from a member of the PCI KZN. I do not recall who called me, but I do recall speaking to Colonel Gavin Jacobs and Brigadier Nyuswa. However, I do not recall who of the two called me on the 22nd of June 2021. What I recall is that I received the call in the early afternoon and I was requested to make members of FSL available to assist the DPCI members for a crime scene the following day. I was informed that it's related to drugs. After the call, I contacted Warrant Officer Melu Sinkosi of the FSL Chemistry Investigation Section. If I recall correctly, he was the officer manning the standby phone at the time. Usually, law enforcement agencies such as DPCI will contact the standby phone when they require FSL assistance. I told Warrant Officer Nkosi that the members will be needed the next day to attend the DPCI team, to assist the DPCI team. At this stage, I was not given any information regarding the nature of the crime scene. I assumed that it was a CDL, which is the clandestine drug laboratory. Also referred to, or it's also referred as a clan lab. In terms of the protocol, FSL members are only required to attend CDL crime scenes. They do not attend crime scenes such as harbor or depot seizures, which I refer to as non-clan lab crime scenes. On the 23rd of June 2021, I received a call asking me to arrange for FSL members to go to the crime scene. I do not recall who called me. I noticed from my May 2022 statement that I stated I received the call from Brigadier Maluleke. I think I did speak to you, Councillor, about this, that I remember that it was Brigadier Maluleke that I spoke to. Yes. It was not DPCI members. So Brigadier Maluleke, he asked me to, during the call, I was asked to send the members in order for them to assist with sampling exhibits that were to be sent to the FSL for analysis. I called Warrant Officer Nkosi again and informed him that the FSL members must attend the crime scene to assist the PCI members. During this conversation, Warrant Officer Nkosi told me that he will speak to Colonel Songa because as far as he is aware, they cannot attend the sampling and collection of samples. Later, the same morning, I spoke to Colonel Songa to find out if the members had gone to the scene as requested. During this conversation, Colonel Songa informed me that the scene we were requested to attend was not a clan lab crime scene, and as such, her members could not attend the scene. She also indicated that FSL does not attend non-clan lab crime scenes to assist in sampling, or nor do members attend non-clan lab scenes to collect exhibits. It sounded to me as though Colonel Songa had more information about the nature of the crime scene because she knew that it was not a Clan Lab crime scene, whereas this was not disclosed to me during my conversation with the DPCI. I accepted and agreed with her response. Thereafter, I contacted Brigadier Maluleke and informed him that we could not send members for the reasons mentioned by Colonel Songa during our call. I had no further involvement in this seizure. I have been informed that Colonel Jacobs stated that he contacted me or the standby number on the 22nd of June 2021, and he was informed that FSL would not attend the scene as it was not an active Clan Lab scene and the FSL did not have space to store the exhibits. I do not recall telling Colonel Jacob that FSL do not have space to store the exhibits. As far as I recall, I did not have any discussion with anyone regarding the FSL's capacity to store the exhibits. As previously stated, the request from DPCI was to send FSL members to assist with sampling of the exhibits, which would be analyzed at the FSL. I do not see how a discussion about a request for sampling would lead to me telling anyone that FSL does not have capacity to store the drugs. In fact, at this stage, I did not know the quantity of the drugs.
Quantity of the drugs.
The quantity of the drugs. At the time...
Sorry, Colonel. I recall that we were told that you did not have, or rather, FSL Manzim Dodi did not have storage capacity for 541 kg of cocaine, and that this had to do with the fact that there had been floods, which, if my recollection is correct, had affected your storage capacity. Is that correct?
It is correct, Commissioner.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, Chair, you had said because of the floods. I wasn't clear what you had indicated.
Or it had nothing to do with the flood. They just did not have enough capacity for 541 kg?
Yes.
Or what was the factual position?
Yes, because this is June 2021.
June 2021. But in what context were floods mentioned then? Because floods were mentioned with regard to storage capacity. Do you know? In what context the floods would have been mentioned?
Commissioner, the challenge is our lab in Amanzimtoti was situated at a flood plain zone. So whenever there's heavy rains, we normally experience such flooding. So our safe, the in-safe where the new exhibits comes in, it's on the ground floor. So that is the most affected area. So by us seeing that most of the time we lose some exhibits because of that, we did not use the safe now, the safe at the ground floor into full capacity, because we wanted to lift most of the things higher, so the lower part was not in use. So with that, the floods also contributed in us having limited space now in our safe. So we will not be able to take a big quantity because we won't have space to keep it there. What I was trying to explain here when I said I did not speak to him about that, I was referring to...
No, I understand. I understand what you are saying here.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Paragraph 12.
12, okay. At the time, it was well known that FSL Amanzimtoti simply did not have the space to store such large quantity of drugs. Therefore, if I was told that the DPCI needed the members to collect the exhibits, not just to assist in sampling, I would have informed the DPCI and that FSL Amanzimtoti did not have a space, and had I been told about the quantity. In any event, DPCI members already knew that FSL Amanzimtoti does not have the capacity to store such large quantities. The safe is not big enough. However, there was never a discussion about FSL receiving exhibits. the discussion was only about sampling. Usually, when a request for storage of such large quantity is made, FSL Amanzimtoti will contact FSL Pretoria to ascertain whether they have space because there is a large exhibit. Can I start again?
Yes.
FSL Amanzimtoti will contact FSL Pretoria to ascertain whether they have space because that is where large exhibits are sent. DPCI members would also make arrangements